All right, guys, welcome back to Talk with the Badge. I'm Pacey. I'm here with Will and Brian. Now, they are part of Sac Sheriff SWAT, right? And why don't you guys tell me about the specific department that you guys are a part of?
Yeah, so we work for Sacramento County Sheriff. We're a piece of a division inside that department. Like you said, a special enforcement detail, which is kind of just our name for our particular SWAT team. Sacramento Police Department also has their SWAT team. We work with them fairly often, but we are separate from them. They're city jurisdiction, and we're county jurisdiction.
So do you guys, since you guys are part of the essentially county, so Sac Sheriff is essentially Sacramento County, right?
Correct.
Do you guys, is part of your patrol jurisdiction also the city, or do you guys just leave that strictly to Sac PD?
No, so we go there if either their people call for help, if their officers are saying, hey, either we have an incident that has kind of bled across boundaries, and we need you guys' assist, or if there's a super hot call that maybe just the public that's just on the other side of an imaginary line on a map is saying, hey, we need help right now. We're not going to not go just because the map says that's right. The police's jurisdiction.
Right. Okay. So going back to the special, the SED department that you're in, what specific calls would that necessarily justify you guys going in for?
Pretty much any high risk operation. So any event that there is specialized training and or equipment that's needed. Not to say that patrol can't handle that, but sometimes, again, there might be some things that better served with certain pieces of the tools in the toolbox. And again, we're just a tool in the toolbox of the whole department. Everybody has their own place within, and we all help the organization run as a whole. So we all have our different roles, but anything high risk, which would be barricaded situations, high risk warrant service, active shooter, weapons of mass destruction, terrorist incidents, things of that nature, we will respond to.
Speaking of that kind of bleeds into then like a federal. So then what is the difference between, like, say, like a federal type of law enforcement coming in versus you guys?
So depending
or does it bleed together a lot?
It will bleed together, and again, we will all help each other out. Just as Vernon said, even though there is pretty much lines in the sandbox, if there is somebody that needs help, it doesn't matter, hey, that's a Sac PD jurisdiction or a federal jurisdiction, say it's a federal building downtown or something of that nature. If we're close by and we can respond and help neutralize a situation to help keep people safe, we will do that. I understand on TV sometimes there's this, I want to call it a pissing match for better words, better terms. Hey, we're the big dogs.
Right.
When bad things happen, we all come together. Right. It doesn't matter who we are, what uniform you wear, what badge you wear. We come together and we work together.
It's not like on a TV show where it's like, okay, we're federal, we're taking over, get out. Like,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
You guys actually work as a team instead
yes.
of what they just try to create drama on there.
Yeah, and there's some people that might have first rights to something. Say if something happens in the city of Sacramento, their officers, their SWAT team, depending on the incident, will have first rights to that. For some reason they're busy or they need additional help, or they're unable to get to it because they're handling something else, then we will step up and help them. Okay. If something happens, say on state property like the Capitol downtown, CHP will be the officers who are technically responsible for that building, being it's a state building. And again, if they need assistance, we'll happily be there to help them out.
Okay. So going back to the training, do you guys start as Sac Sheriffs and then kind of move into this department?
Yeah, so to be on Special Enforcement Detail, you have to have a minimum 2 years patrol experience for Sacramento County.
Got it.
So that's just, not to say we're not just run-of-the-mill cops, because I mean, we really are. But you need at least 2 years experience just being a normal patrol cop going to calls for service.
Okay.
After that time has elapsed, and if you decide, people will kind of pick a career path. Hey, I want to go into investigations. I want to go into, community relations. I want to go into tactical work. We would be kind of tactical work. There's a testing process. So if you say, hey, I want to be part of the SWAT team, part of SED, there is a testing process. There are certain minimum standards that need to be met to even get on the board, but in general, it's a competitive process. So say we get 15 to 20 people that show up trying to test. How many we take is going to be determined by how many vacancies and that's really going to determine how competitive is this round of testing.
Yeah.
Another big part of it is just your reputation that you built for yourself when you were going to those patrol calls. Is this a person that can handle stress well? Is this a person that...
So there's psychological testing as well, essentially.
Yes.
100%. And I mean, a lot of that testing really takes place during your patrol career.
Got it.
And, you know, of course, there's an interview process, but you can only really learn so much about somebody during a 15-minute interview.
Yeah.
What does that 2, 3, 4, 5 years they spent pushing a patrol call around going to tell you? Probably a lot more. Is this person's use of force consistently appropriate and within policy? Does this person understand, you know, those procedural check boxes that really comprise how police make decisions? How we, okay, this is XYZ criteria have been met. That means I'm going to do A, B, C to respond.
Yeah.
And there's other tech, try to cut you off. And then one of the biggest things that we have here is being able to be a team player. We have a bunch of different personalities on this team. Everybody's a hard charger, everybody's type A. But can I get number 1 through 16 to work together, to come together for a common goal? We may all have different ideas, we might have all different opinions of how to get certain things done. At the same time, if you come to me with something, I'm going to take that information, process it. Hey, this might be better served for the situation. It doesn't matter where you are in the pecking order of rank and or seniority. If there's a good idea and it can be employed to better help us complete the mission in a safe manner, we will do that. So pretty much that's just a long-winded version of saying working together for the common goal.
Right.
Humility is huge on this team. Again, that's what it takes. Understand, hey, I have this great idea, but it might not be so great, or there might be a better idea. So understanding that you have to have the ability to work well with others to come together is probably one of the biggest pieces, I think, on this team. Again, we all come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different areas, been on the department for a different amount of years. But being able to put all that stuff aside and come together is another huge asset and part of being able to do well on this team.
Yeah. So you mentioned 16. So is that how many members are part of this?
Yeah. So
Yes. Go ahead.
we have 14 full-time SWAT deputies. So we call them operator positions, or whatever. Just 14 line level cops. 2 supervisors, so 2 sergeants, and then we have 4 auxiliary deputies assigned as well, that are still assigned full time to other divisions, to patrol or to investigative positions or what have you. But they come out when it's either time to train or respond to a SWAT call out.
Okay. So I'm actually really excited to get to see all the stuff you guys use, especially in what's called a Bearcat, I believe.
Yes, sir.
So why don't we go outside and check that out?
Got it.
Which one of you wants to tell me about just essentially what you use the Bearcats for?
So either of us could, I'm sure. We essentially use this for anything that would require what we would consider like a traditional SWAT team response. So there's no like set list of we go to this, we go to this, we go to this. It could be something along the lines of a detective has wrote up a search warrant. Looking at, we would call it a threat matrix, basically looking at the facts of that search warrant. They're saying, oh, well, this guy's got gun history, and he's got history of violence against officers, and he's got, XYZ factors.
Yeah.
They might request a SWAT team to serve that warrant for them, to mitigate the likelihood of violence taking place in the first place.
Right.
It could be the kind of thing that maybe patrol was on a call for service and was dealing with a suspect that for one reason or another they decided had a high likelihood for violence. Maybe they saw him with a gun, something along those lines. And typically the way it goes is that guy might barricade inside a structure, basically go inside somewhere and refuse to come out. Well-trained patrol officers are going to say, no, I'm not going to go in there after him unless there's some reason that I have to.
Right.
If that, we would call that exigency, so there's no rush to get there. They're going to lock that building down and give us a call, and we're going to bring out the heavy equipment because
Wow.
it takes a while to get there.
Okay. So can we take a look inside, because that seems really interesting.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a look inside at all because you think the outside is really cool looking. Inside, there's a bunch of toys. well, toys. I mean, they're not necessarily for kids, clearly. But we're going to take a look inside at all these toys inside. All right, so these all look interesting, and these are all. Do you use everything in here for?
Yeah. So we'll use any one of these tools that you see here. Obviously, each one of these tools has the ability to adapt to different situations, whatever they may call for. This, for example, right here, this is our door ram.
Oh, wow.
So for some reason, we do need to enter a structure and attempt to stop somebody from harming themselves or harming others. We may be able to use this tool to enter the structure, whatever it may, i.e. a house or a building or whatever that structure might be. With that being said, there's other tools such as this Halligan right here. So if you see the forks on this right here, we can use this. Say that there's a lock on a gate, whether it be a gate that's leading up to the residence or whatever structure we're going to. We can actually put this on here, twist it around, and just with the pressure of it, it'll snap the lock off, break the chain open, things of that nature. In addition to that, as far as getting into screen doors or anything of that nature, if there's fortification on the residence or structure, we can utilize these tools in different manners to help gain access to the structure to attempt to neutralize the situation in the safest manner possible without causing harm to anybody.
Right. So what kind of like training is required for these? Because I've never seen these, and I wouldn't even know how to like. I wouldn't even know how to ram a door with that. Yeah,
there's a lot of training that is involved with each and every one of these tools here. Everybody on the team is trained to a basic standard of them, but then there's certain folks, we'll call them subject matter experts, that will do additional training to...
specialists, essentially.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So we'll get extra training on these devices, whatever it may be. Chemical agents right behind you. There's gas guns and or 40 millimeter rounds, which are less lethal.
So is that like tear gas?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So shoots gas.
Well, that's like straight out of a video game.
Yes, sir. So we'll load the rounds into here. So last night we deployed this. There's gas in here. So there was somebody who barricaded into a residence last night, would not come out. He was wanted for a bunch of felony crimes, harming other folks. So an attempt to get him out after negotiations failed, things of that nature. We kind of have to rise to a level that the suspect brings us to. We're pretty much a reactive force. The suspect and or subject that we are encountering, for the most part, dictates what's going to happen. But we always try to stop the threat at the lowest level possible without, again, causing harm to anybody.
Absolutely, yeah, because essentially with any situation, the ideal situation is, or the ideal solution is to bring everyone out safely.
To a peaceful resolution, yes, sir.
Okay,
Yep.
peaceful resolution, exactly. What's this thing back here?
So these right here are ballistic shields. These small ones right here have been kindly put on loan to us from Point Blank Armor. So these are rifle rated shields right here. Currently in the process of trying to obtain some new ones. Some of the stuff that we have is a little bit older, but right now we're in the process of getting more updated equipment.
Right.
Again, as times evolve, the criminals adapt, they get smarter. We kind of have to adapt with them and utilize different equipment for different things. So again, big toolbox right here.
Yeah.
Has specific tools for everything. So this can be utilized to help prevent us from getting struck by gunfire or anything of that nature while we're entering a structure and attempt to rescue somebody and or take someone into custody and prevent them from doing harm to anyone else.
Right, and this is obviously bulletproof glass.
Yes, sir. So what we can look through here as we can hold it up right here. And we can actually see through some of the older shields that we have do not have this glass structure. So that would cause us to actually put our head up and expose ourselves.
Exactly.
So now, with that being said, as learning through different times through our history, obviously you learn some things the hard way. And people have gotten, law enforcement officers have gotten shot and or killed utilizing certain pieces of equipment. So again, with that, we have to adapt. And this is one of the things that Point Blank Armor did make, and it's we utilize it a lot.
Awesome.
Yep. So this right here is our labeled tactical blanket. It's a ballistic blanket. So therefore, if we are in a structure or come to an area to where we aren't able to get our armor inside to keep us safe, protect, keep us from the direct line of bullets, we will utilize this. This opens up to about the length of this wall here, probably about 6 to 8 feet.
Okay.
It'll fold down about 4 feet. So if we need to carry something, or we need to walk to a certain place without being struck by gunfire, so we need to conduct officer rescue or citizen rescue. To safely do that, we are not able to drive this barricade everywhere. Obviously, inside of an apartment complex, we might not be able to do that. So we'd pop this blanket out and attempt to conduct a rescue, shielding us and the victim with the blanket, a ballistic blanket, and then taking them back.
So you're telling me that is a bulletproof blanket?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
That is very interesting. It seems, I don't know, technology is crazy, I guess.
Yeah, and every one of these things, again, has been utilized, and again, it's all for the safety of the public. Again, we understand that with this job, we will put ourselves in harm's way when necessary to do so.
Right.
Everything we do is to try to minimize the level of violence and obviously minimize the amount of force used on the suspect.
Right.
A lot of people think that, or have this notion that, hey, we wake up every day and we're looking for action and things of that nature.
You would rather not, to be honest. You would.
We are here to do our best to, again, resolve situations peacefully, and that is without force being used.
Right.
And that's what we're here for. Again, there's different training and specialized equipment we do to employ those options, and that's what we're here for, is again to just make sure that everybody goes home safe at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like going back to it, like you guys don't actively look for, you guys don't actively look and hope there's trouble. Like
no, sir, we're not looking for trouble at all.
Right.
We're looking again to engage the community in a fun, loving manner. You know, it's no different than me seeing some kids playing basketball on the street, driving by. Hey, I'll go shoot a couple of buckets with them, play some horse if the schedule allows, and we're not going to a call for service or something of that nature. Then guess what? We're here to engage the community in a positive manner, and 99.9% of the time, that's what we do. But again, there is bad people in this world that do bad things, and we need to be here to be that breaker to keep the innocent victims safe.
Yeah, awesome. Well, man, thank you so much for showing me inside this amazing vehicle. Let's
You got it.
head back out.
So this is the Rook. It's in a lot of ways it's kind of just an armored Bobcat. I say just an armored Bobcat like it's not super useful piece of equipment. So basically, we use this thing that just like the Bearcat that we showed. This thing is all bullet resistant glass. This here we have different attachments that hook onto the arms here.
So this is not permanently attached to this.
This is the platform.
Okay.
So this is it's very modular. That's a cool word, right? The platform detaches, so we would use this to see. There's bullet-resistant glass up there as well.
Yeah.
We could put some cops on here and use this to get a peek in somewhere that maybe wouldn't have been accessible to us otherwise. Maybe this can raise up to look at second-story windows.
Oh wow!
So
this would pick this up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So our most common use for the platform, we've used it a few times doing evacuations where it's a suspect that has a gun, or we're hearing that he's armed and he's making statements to make us believe he's dangerous. We can use these to evacuate people out of top-story windows that otherwise we would have had to have done some like tactically really goofy stuff to get to him, going upstairs and then bringing them back downstairs, and all that's kind of exposed to where this suspect is.
Right.
We can kind of shortcut that whole thing using this platform attachment, so that's super useful. I get it, but
it honestly to me looks like one of those construction.
It is. It is one of those construction things. It's just somebody welded and bolted a bunch of steel to it, and really thick glass.
Right.
But yeah.
What's the training? Is there training involved in this?
There is training. It's all the company when you purchase it sends a rep out and kind of shows you the ropes. After that, it's all kind of in-house. We have a specialized group of drivers within the team that receive additional training on how to maneuver that thing and how to use all the different kind of gadgets and attachments and stuff that come with it. I'll be honest that neither of us are on that detail.
Okay.
So we'd be able to make it go, but it would take some doing.
Yeah,
Exactly. Man, what did that guy tell me I was supposed to? I'm
spiral.
Calling my partner on the phone. Hey, man, how do you start this thing?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been very. I had no idea about any of this, so.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Awesome.